Hi you guys, we're going to switch it up a little bit today, and we are going to do some three-dimensional art, but we are still going to be making our 3D sculptures with a piece of paper. So you just need like a white piece of computer paper like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll the paper into straws, and we're going to use the straws to build a sculpture like this.
Okay, so for this project, you're going to need a ruler. It does not have to be a ruler because we're not using it for measuring. I'm just using the ruler for the straight edge. So if you don't have a ruler, you can use a book. A book would probably be the best thing I can think of. Just anything that has a straight edge that you can trace against. You're going to need a pencil, scissors. I'm going to use crayons, but the crayons are for decorating the paper. So really, you could do that with anything you have. Markers, watercolors, crayons. You could leave the papers white if you don't want your straws to be decorated. And then you need glue, normal paper. I'm using a pencil that's not sharpened to roll my straws around. And then you need a piece of cardboard for your platform. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up my ruler with one end of my paper, and I'm going to draw a line across. You're later going to cut on these lines to cut your paper into strips. So you want them to be a pretty even length, and you do not want them to be close together. Make sure that they're at least as wide as the ruler. If you don't have a ruler, make sure that they're about 1 inch wide, or you could even make them a little bit wider. We're going to be rolling these papers into strips. So the skinnier you make them, the more straws you'll have, but the wider you make them, the easier it'll be to roll. But definitely don't go skinnier than 1 inch, which is the width of my ruler. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some crayons and I'm going to decorate my strips. Again, you're going to cut these, so keep that in mind. Maybe just do an abstract design that you are then going to not feel sad about cutting up. Okay, now that that's done, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to really carefully cut all of my paper into strips.
Hi you guys, so if you notice at the end after I cut my strips, I did cut them, I cut them into two pieces, not in half, but notice how one's a little bit longer than the other. It's probably, I don't know, I was going to say 2/3 and 1/3, but this is more than 1/3. Anyway, so I cut them in half, and I'm going to roll each one of these pieces into a straw now, so you'll have two different lengths of straw. Rolling the straws is a little bit tricky, so don't get frustrated, but you will get the hang of it and you'll get faster at it with practice. One thing that I like to do is I like to squeeze the glue out onto a different surface, and then you can use, if you have like a little paintbrush, you can use a paintbrush, or like an old pencil, you could use like the back of the pencil to kind of apply it onto the paper. And that's actually easier because then you don't, like if you're applying a whole line of glue on it, you'll probably get too much glue on it. So it's better to do this, and it's usually a little bit faster to do this too. So I recommend that for doing your gluing steps. So here is what the rolling the tube looks like. I'm going to take a piece of paper, one of these, and I'm going to use a pencil that's not sharpened. Of course, you can use a pencil that's sharpened if you want to. The most important thing is that you need your pencil to be longer than your strip. So I'm going to put my strip upside down, and like I said, this was tricky in the beginning. I'm going to roll my paper around it like this and kind of press that in. And then I'm gonna take the glue and I'm just gonna dab some glue on this end like this. And I'm going to roll it like that. And when you get to this point where your pencil's on top of the part where you put glue, you want to make sure that you hold it for like 10 seconds so that your glue actually sticks. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm talking to you guys. I'm stalling. And then, oops, I glued mine to the paper. So then you should have a straw like this, and you just want to go through all of your papers until they're all turned into straws. And it does take a little while. This might be a good project actually to break into 2 days if you are feeling like you're just arted out at the end of this step. You can totally just make your straws today and then come back to build your sculpture next time. Once you have your straws made, the best thing to use for putting your sculpture together is actually a low temperature glue gun, because the glue gun glue is going to harden pretty much instantly, which makes building your sculpture really easy. If you do not have a low temperature glue gun, you're going to have to do it with normal glue, and which is possible, but it's just going to take a bit longer. So if you're using normal glue, what I would do is just start by gluing 2 or 3 pieces together like this, kind of like you're making little units, and then you're going to have to wait for like an hour for these to dry. So I would probably start with just gluing all of these pieces and then setting them aside, and then you can come back to it tomorrow to finish. So this is what I'm kind of piecing together with the Elmer slow drying glue. And if you're doing it this way, it's kind of more challenging because you have to put your pieces together in a way that they support each other. So it's kind of more of an engineering exercise. I'm going to show you guys also with these ones how you can use a hot glue gun to put them together. Please remember, you cannot use a hot glue gun without asking your parents first, and it should definitely be a low temperature glue gun. So you have to look, because there's 2 different types of hot glue guns. There's high temperature and low temperature. Absolutely don't use the high temperature one. You want to have a low temperature one. So make sure you ask your parents so that they know if you're going to use a glue gun. Okay, so the low temperature glue gun's nice because it dries so fast you can kind of defy gravity like this. So I can kind of start gluing these down and then kind of support them and glue them together. It's really helpful to start your base with 3